I'm here with Barry Schwartz from A&N Mortgage. Barry's got tons of credibility in the business and a ton of awards to prove himself worthy of your guys' business. We'll get into that later. The real story is, what does it look like for a buyer to get pre-approved? That's the topic today, because everyone's like, are you pre-approved? Are you pre-approved? What does that mean? Like, what does it mean when someone comes to you high level before they go out and tour properties to be pre-approved?
It's such a simple thing, and people try and overcomplicate it. I'm going over people's credit, I'm going over their debt, I'm going over their income, and we're going over what they can afford and what they can't afford.
Okay, well, you said you're pulling their credit. Does that reduce their credit score? Everyone's worried. Oh my God, he's pulling my credit. Is it going to hurt my credit?
I'm glad you brought that up. That's one of the biggest myths on the internet. The only time credit scores are going to go down is if three different entities pull it, or it's three different industries.
So three mortgage brokers or three car dealerships?
If I pull it and a car dealership pulls it and MasterCard pulls it, the scores tend to drop a little bit because it looks like you're going on a spending spree. It could be up to 10%, but it really never does drop that much. If I pull it and Chase pulls it, another mortgage broker pulls it, it's not going to go down at all.
Great.
Because they know you're going to shop for a mortgage.
Perfect. Now you're pre-approving a buyer. Let's say they're pre-approved for $500,000. Of that $500,000, how many times are buyers maxing out their pre-approval value on when they purchase? And what do you typically suggest buyers go into a purchase, even though they're pre-approved for $500? How much should they spend?
Well, I like to go over what they can afford, because someone who's pre-approved for $500 may be up at night every night pacing the hallways like I am with a mortgage payment that they can't afford.
Yeah.
So I always tell people, what's your goal? What's your highest payment you can go up to without losing sleep?
Yeah.
And that's what
they can. Do you work on their other budget, their car, their food? Do you help them like make a budget, or are you just
I do not.
You give them some ideas.
I give them some ideas, absolutely.
Okay, good.
Because they need to know going in. This is the biggest purchase of their life.
Absolutely.
Right. So they need to know going in how much money they're spending every month and how much is coming in and how much is going out.
Great. So you run their credit, you understand what they qualify for. Do you do any verification of their funds, or is that just like, hey, I have $100,000 in the bank, and you're like, cool, I believe you until the day comes?
We asked that again. I'm sorry.
That's not how this works. Take two. Barry, you said you run their credit and you're verifying their credit score and you're seeing how much they can afford. Do you actually verify how much money they have? So if they're like, hey, Barry, I have $100,000, do you just believe them, or do you ask for bank statements, or does that happen much later in the process?
That happens much later in the process. I'll take their word for it.
Okay.
99 times out of 100, their word is their word, and it works out.
One thing I love is self-employed people that make $200,000 a year but only report $100,000 a year. What does that do to their buying power?
That's our favorite. So that hurts their buying power,
right?
Because it's a catch-22. The banks are going to go off of that bottom line, what they reported on their tax return, their adjusted gross income.
Yeah. And the banks are only going to give you money that you report in income, not necessarily the piles of cash that you have in your bank account that you're not paying taxes on.
Exactly.
We don't condone that, just saying people might do it.
Right.
Got it.
Some banks will do, not a lot, but some banks will do bank statement loans where they see the money coming in.
No docs.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Okay. It's like 2008 all over again. It's starting to catch momentum.
Amazing.
Banks don't learn.
No, they don't. But cash is king.
Right.
So you have someone pre-approved. They go out and they write an offer. How quickly do they come back to you and say, Barry, I need to lock a rate? And when does that rate lock happen? Do you play the game? Do you predict what rates are going to do? Or do you just lock them and go?
I'm a pretty good rate predictor.
Okay.
But generally, the banks will not let you lock into a rate until you have a contract, an address, closing date, purchase price, all that stuff.
How long are rate locks going now? I know rates are moving so fast. Can you lock 90 days or only 60?
Yeah, 30, 60, 90, 120 days. The longer the rate lock, the higher the interest rate's going to be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I thought there was a premium like dollar value on that, but interesting.
No.
Okay. Great. I love it. This is a great summary of mortgages and processes around that and getting pre-approved. We appreciate having you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here. Thank you.